The Washington Wizards have definitely struggled to start the season, and I'm not sure that's what a lot of people thought was going to happen when they traded for Russell Westbrook. I saw a lot of people saying they were going to be a 6 to 8 seed in the East, and it seemed like it made sense. But now with injuries and COVID and Scott Brooks not really running the team like he should be, it doesn't look so good for them. So for a lot of reasons, I think their best move is to trade Bradley Beal. And that might surprise a lot of people because he's obviously their best player. He's having a career year averaging like 35 points on really efficient numbers. And even over the last 5 games, he's averaged almost 40 points. So why would the Washington Wizards want to move on from their best player? Well, if you look at the roster, there's a lot of young players that need the ball to develop, and that hasn't really been the case to start the year. Westbrook gets around 100 touches a game, Bradley Beal's around 80, then you have guys like Deni, Rui, and Thomas Bryant that are getting in the 30 or 40 range. And those are 3 guys that definitely have a lot of potential, but through coaching and just the makeup of the team, I don't think they're getting the chances that they should be getting. And I don't want to blame Bradley Beal for taking the most shots on the team because obviously that's what you want from your best player, but there's no reason for him to still be on the Wizards. His contract locks him up for next season, and then he has a player option after that. So with that in mind, you have to think that the Wizards should be looking to trade Beal because he's peaking right now. He has the most trade value he's going to have probably in his entire career. Since he's locked up for next season, teams are going to see that and think, okay, we can get him for the rest of this season and next season and possibly the season after that because of the player option. It's not like they're trading for a guy that's on a 1-year contract and could leave at the end of this. No, Bradley Beal is peaking right now, has a lot of trade value because of his contract, and I think they could get a good young player and some picks in return for that, and that would be better for the future of this team. Because the Wizards aren't a good team right now and are not going to be a great team anywhere near the future, they need to look towards the next 3 to 5 years and shift their focus to that. Instead of trying to push for a first round exit out of the playoffs in the next few seasons, they should try to restructure this team, have a defensive focus because they are one of the worst defensive teams in the league. And some people might counter that with saying that their offense has been great to start the year, and they're not wrong. They are top 10 in offensive rating, they're first in pace, top 5 in free throws per game, but the thing is that doesn't really get you anywhere in the playoffs. I mean, look at the Brooklyn Nets. They have 3 stars or superstars, whatever you want to call them, and a terrible defense, and we're not really sure what they're going to do in the playoffs. And then you look at the Wizards, who are in that same mold of great offense, terrible defense, but they're nowhere near as gifted offensively as the Brooklyn Nets. So clearly the team that is constructed right now is not going to work, and it's not going to work in the future. Bradley Beal, again, is having a career year, and the time to trade him is right now. Say they wait until the next season to trade him, or they don't trade him at all, then they're not going to get what they would get if they would trade him this season. There's teams that are on the cusp to competing for NBA Finals, and they could use a great shooting guard like Bradley Beal that could score from anywhere on the court. Right away, 2 teams in the East that come to mind are the Celtics and the Sixers. The Celtics have their $28 million trade exception that they still need to use, and the Sixers are looking like a great team this season but need something else to push them over the edge. And then there's other good teams that aren't contending right now but could definitely use a player like Beal, such as maybe the Pelicans, who definitely lack some shooting in their starting lineup and have some good young players that they might be willing to give up. I'm not really going to go over what some possible trade scenarios will be because as we've seen in the past couple months and the offseason, there was some crazy trades with so many picks and pick swaps and 3-team deals, so it's kind of hard to guess what the trade would look like, but I'm assuming the Wizards would want at least one young player with really good potential, a bunch of picks, or just more young players. So say the Wizards do move on from Bradley Beal, then what would the team look like without him? Well, first of all, I hope Westbrook doesn't try to take over the team as his own because that's not really the point of moving Beal. It's not to hand the team over to Westbrook, who is still a good point guard, but he's not nearly the player he was in the past. The goal is to give the young players the opportunities that they might not have had with Bradley Beal on the team. And I understand that moving Beal will definitely hurt some spacing a little bit, but like I said before, in the long run, this is gonna help the franchise. There's nothing wrong in moving on from a good player at his peak because your team is not ready to compete at the level he is. It makes sense for both Beal and the Washington Wizards. And I know Beal said that he wants to be on the Wizards for a long time, so have a lot of NBA players. You can't really trust what they say sometimes. Players change their mind when they realize that their teams aren't on the same page as them for the long run, and teams change their mind when they realize it's a business and it's not just about playing basketball. So without Beal on the roster, I would love to see the Wizards fire their head coach Scott Brooks, but I'm not really sure that would happen. And part of the reason I'm saying that is because he's not really a defensive-minded coach, and this team is just terrible on defense. And I think there's some guys that could definitely be a little better on the end, but there's no emphasis. When I watch the games, I don't really see any extra effort on defense. So it's obvious that's not really a focus for the coach. And on top of that, he doesn't utilize the young guys in the way he should. He has Deni, one of the best playmakers in this class, sitting in the corner for nearly the entire game. He only gets around 30 touches a game, and when he does have the ball, it's not really in his hands for that long. And that's not what you want from a guy that could be a great playmaker. He has already shown flashes of when he does have the ball in his hands that he could break down a defender a little bit, find an open man, he could post someone up down low because he is 6'9", but instead Scott Brooks just has him sitting in the corner. And he's actually been a great three-point shooter to start the year, which was something that was kind of questionable going into the season because his shot wasn't always falling overseas, but it looks like it is now, so that's a good sign for him, and I want to see him continue to improve his development, but sitting in the corner all game is not going to do it. And there's some other young guys that definitely could be getting more playing time to speed up their development, such as Garrison Matthews, who looks like he's going to be a great shooter. Also, Cassius Winston definitely has some decent potential. He had a lot of hype surrounding him when he was in high school and partially in college. So it's not like this team doesn't have young talent, because they definitely do. They're just not really getting the opportunities and the chances to show what they're made of. And just to reiterate things, it's a combination of coaching, COVID, injuries, and Westbrook and Bradley Beal getting all the shots. But if you're wondering what the shots per game looks like, Bradley Beal's taking 25, Westbrook's at 18, Rui's at 10, Bertans and Bryant are at 9, and then it just goes down from there with about 4 to 6 shots for the rest of the guys. So if you think about it, take those 25 shots away from Bradley Beal, that's a lot of shots that the young players can be taking and using that to develop into the player that they will be. I think the Wizards really should just move on from Beal this season, get as much back as possible, and then build around their young core with defensive pieces and shooters. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like, as it really helps me out, and comment down below what you thought of the video. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.